Hello, welcome to the Fullness of Life with Dr. Japhet Omaye. I'm excited to have you on today's edition of the Fullness of Life. Previously, we had discussed the concept of the be, do, have framework. And like you remember, in the previous episode that we had, we introduced the be, do, have framework as that simple but powerful framework that helps you to live your life to the fullest. Is that simple but powerful framework that helps you to live your life to the fullest. That means it is a framework that powers you to be able to make the most of your life. And we went ahead to discuss the fact that the three components must interact together in their right order for you to be able to live your life to the fullest. And that right order is one, focus on who you are becoming before you talk about what you can do and what you can have. Right. And we went ahead to establish further that life is powered from who you are and who you are becoming. And we looked at the three pillars that powers who you are and who you are becoming, which is the big component. And those three pillars, we introduce them to include number one, the pillar of your identity. Number two, the pillar of your mindset. And number three, the pillar of your values. And so we picked on that pillar one to discuss the power of your identity. And that is what I'll be focusing on largely today. We established previously that several persons in our world today, more than 70 to 80% of people come through what we call identity crisis, meaning people are struggling with the proper understanding of their identity, who they are and who they are becoming. All right, and that is why it is important for us to talk about that pillar of your identity. Right, I had previously established that your identity as a personality that God created is essentially that you are a spirit being. I affirm to say that the core of your identity is that you are a spirit being. And as a spirit being that you are, that life is powered from within. And so today, I want to build on that further to answer this core question of who must I become so I can do the right thing consistently and then have the right results. This is the question that I seek to answer on today's episode of the Fullness of Life with Dr. Japhet Omaye. This is critical because we are in a new year, right? The first month of the year is ending, and I understand that this part of the year is when people set the goals of what they want to really accomplish. People set goals of what they want to do, what they want to have within the one year calendar cycle. But unfortunately, statistics also suggest that more than 70 to 80% of people who set goals year in, year out are never really able to accomplish those goals. And in many instances, it has led many persons to frustration. And so, one of the major reasons why people are not really able to accomplish their goals year in, year out is that most time when we are setting goals, we are focusing on what to do, we are focusing on what we want to have. Right? I want to have a new job. I want to have a new car. I want to have a new wife. I want to have a husband. I want to build a new house. All connected to what? To having. And then the people who are able to go a little further, they focus on what to do. All right, this is my New Year resolution. I want to do this. I want to save. I want to do so. Life, to build our goal around what to do and what to have, ignoring the component that powers our ability to do and our ability to have, which is the big component. And that is why I'm seeking to answer this question today. So as you set your goal in the beginning of the year, you will be in the right position to achieve those goals. So who must you become? Who must I become to do the right things and then to have the right results? Now, So this proper understanding of being able to answer who you must become comes from understanding the core of your identity, understanding the role that your identity plays in what you can do and what you can have. And permit me to push it forward on this premise now for you to have this further detailed understanding about your identity, that your identity is the operating system that powers your being. That is huge. I need you to get that. Your identity is the what? The internal operating system that powers your being. It powers your being. It is responsible for how you think. It is responsible for how you respond to situation. It is responsible for how you show up. All right. So that goes to say that your identity is actually the core of your existence. And I decided to do a simple check, try to use a 21st century term to help us understand better. Operating system is commonly associated with computers, right? I know. So if you are listening to me right now, you are able to listen to me with the aid of a computer. Either it's a small handset you are using, or it's a desktop or a laptop, that is a computer. So, and you know how important an operating system is to a computer. I decided to do a simple check. And here is what I found. The term operating system is the brain and traffic controller of your computer. Without it, that is the operating system, application couldn't run, hardware couldn't communicate, and the machine would be unusable. Wow. Did you hear that? That underscores how powerful an operating system is to a computer. All right. It is the brain and the traffic controller of the computer. Without it, application couldn't run, hardware couldn't communicate, and the machine would be unusable. That last part is what caught my attention so much. Without an operating system, a computer sitting before you will just be like an empty carcass that is useless, that is not able to produce any result. Now apply this to your life. That means without a proper understanding of your identity, your life has no meaning. And this is part of why people struggle through life and not able to have proper result and not able to accomplish the thing that they really want to accomplish. All right, I'm going to take a short break on this note, and I'll be back to continue again with a conversation on the power of your identity and seeking to answer the question of who you must become so you can do the right thing consistently and have the right results as you journey into the year. I'll be right back. All right, welcome back. I do hope you are enjoying the conversation so far. Okay, by the way, if you have not subscribed to my channel yet, for those of you who are watching this on YouTube, I want to invite you to subscribe to the YouTube channel here and hit the notification bell. What this does is that every time we put new content here, you will be the first to be notified, and then you can come right here to be able to enjoy what it is. So please subscribe to my channel and then hit the notification bell. Thank you. Okay, so I want to take it a little further. Having established previously that your identity is the operating system that powers your being. It powers the way you think, it powers the way you respond, it powers the way you show up, and it powers the way you do things consistently. Now, there are a few more things I want to say about your identity, building it from this perspective before I wrap up on this edition. And this is it, that your identity is the energy that accompanies your presence. Your identity is the energy that accompanies your presence. Listen, every time you show up in any space, there is the energy that is communicated. There is a vibe. Okay, let me use that. There is the vibe that comes with your presence. Now, that vibe is associated with the understanding of your identity that you carry. In executive rooms, they call it executive presence. Right? When certain individual walks into a space, there is a change in aura. right? If you are a person of faith, maybe you want to call it divine presence, right? By mere stepping into a space, there is an aura that comes. Listen, what powers that kind of aura? What powers that kind of presence that can be felt, that can be perceived, is the energy that accompanies your what? Your presence. Now, it shows up when you walk into a space because of the calmness that you carry. The people that understands their identity, they are always calm. They are never agitated. All right, because you know what? They know who they are. They know who they are. And so there is a calmness that accompanies their presence. Additionally, there is a confidence that comes with them every time they step into a space. A person who understands his proper identity can never be intimidated. No, they are never. They are always confident. And you know what? Confidence is a vibe that can be felt. It's a vibe that can be felt. You show up, it can be perceived. All right, and there is the energy that is releases into the space when you show up. That energy, that vibes comes with the proper understanding of your identity. If you find yourself struggling with confidence, find yourself always agitated, always like, hey, you are on the side of you're not sure of yourself. No, part of what you need to do is to work on your what? On your identity. All right, because if you have a proper understanding of your identity, it shows up in confidence. It shows up in the calmness that you bring. That means your identity brings a presence that influences your perception. It influences how you are perceived, and perception influences how you are able to do things within every space that you show up every time. So that is one key thing that I needed you to know about your identity. And lastly, before I wrap up today, is that there is a personal code that comes with your identity. Aside the energy that comes with your presence, which comes as a result of proper understanding of your identity, there is a personal code that comes with your identity. And that personal code is the code of excellence. Oh, say that again. That personal code is the code of what? The code of excellence. The people that understand the identity, that knows who they are. There is a personal code of excellence that they carry that helps them to live their life to the fullest. And this personal code of excellence shows up in about 3 ways. Number one is in the quality of your thoughts. Right? The people that have a proper perception and understanding of the identity of who they are, right? They don't think anyhow. There are thoughts that are never permitted to come into their mind. Thought could fly around, but is never allowed to settle on their mind. And I usually say fondly, now for a person that understands the power of his identity, thoughts are just like a bird flying over your head. Now the bird negative thought are just like bird flying over your head. That a bird flew over your head doesn't mean that you have a bird sitting on your head. All right. So when negative thoughts are running through your mind, you have the right, as an excellent person that you are, that understand this code of personal code as a standard for your excellence, for your identity, that hey, negative thought could fly, but I will not allow you to do what to settle. So they guard what they think. The other aspect of it is in their communication. All right, this personal code of excellence shows up in the way you speak. It shows up in the way you talk. There are corrupt communication that will never come out of the mouth of a person who understands who he is. All right, so if you don't talk anyhow, all right, you don't use words that are not, in tandem with the upward and forward life that you seek to live, the person who seeks to live his life to the what? To the fullest. Okay, I hope you are following the conversation. Yes, somebody said to me fondly some times ago, you say, you can't expect to live in the palace and talk like people who are in the garage. So the language of the park is not fitting for those who are heading to the palace. That is underscores the fact that those who understand their identity, they don't talk anyhow. They don't communicate anyhow. There is the excellence that shows up every time they communicate. And so this is the person you must become if you must do rightly and then have the right results as you journey into destiny. So, and this is where I'll be wrapping up today on the fullness of life. Again, remember to join me next week for a fresh edition of The Fullness of Life with Dr. Japhet Omaye. Thank you.